What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Discipline Podcast. My name is Sean Greenspan. I'm your host. We're calling in from El Chalten in Patagonia. It's a small town in Argentina, and I'm so happy that we have technology and internet that brings me and Marie together because Marie is she's a very special soul. She was introduced to me by Dr. Bryce Applebaum, who was one of my previous guests on here. You should definitely check that episode out. What do I say about Marie as an intro? How about that? She is one of the most tapped in people, and I don't want to overuse that jargon that we hear. She's connected to source and the energy of source, and I see it through her smile and her eyes and our interactions and the way that people I respect that know her well talk about her. And I have nothing but beautiful, amazing things to say. And I'm excited that we have a little time here to dive in, Marie. So thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Sean. It was instant connection as soon as we met. Vibes, no vibes. And yours are really pure and clean and good. And so I'm happy to be here.
Nice. Clean vibes. I like that. Just to start things off, I want to ask, was there a moment in the last few days or weeks that you can pinpoint that you were the happiest version of yourself?
Definitely this last weekend in Asheville, North Carolina. I was there with my husband and we were visiting some good friends and clients out there and got to experience a beautiful journey together and just feel complete unconditional love and happiness and being in the mountains and grounded into nature and just deeply connecting with people that I love and admire. It filled every cup I can think of. Yeah.
Nice. Would you say that's like a moment you want to replicate more of?
Oh yeah. If I could package that up and press repeat over and over on that one, I would. For sure.
Let's try to figure out how to do that because I'm trying to think. If I was going to answer the question, mine would actually be yesterday. Yesterday was maybe the happiest I've been ever. Not ever, but like in the longest time ever. I woke up at 4 a.m., ran through the mountains and summited a mountain. And Fitzroy is the mountain that's like the Patagonia logo. I was by myself on a rock with a 500-foot waterfall pouring into a lake and watched the sunrise on Fitzroy just by myself. And then I just ran down and it was like the most amazing thing ever. And when I feel that, my brain goes to, I want more of that, right? That's what our brain does. They're like, feed me those chemicals, more of them. What patterns or what like things do you see in what you did this weekend that you might be able to replicate? I'd love to understand how you could replicate that happy moment.
I have a thing that I am ruthless about in my life. It is one of my greatest disciplines for happiness and how I devote myself to living my best life. And that is proximity is powerful. And so when you surround yourself with people that are in such deep alignment, that are on the same wavelength as you, that have the same values and goals and interests and passions, it just automatically leads to expansion, leads to a good time. And so that is something that was a key recipe of this weekend that is, I find, easy to replicate now. I'm so lucky to have such beautiful people in my life.
Are you lucky or do you make that happen?
No, I think it took a lot of internal personal work because your external environment and the people that you attract always mirror your internal state. So lucky, probably not the best word because I've actually worked really hard to be this blessed in my life, to be able to attract the state that I've been able to cultivate within myself externally in my reality.
Yeah. I trying to get more pinpointed with my vernacular, and that's why I asked that because someone told me how lucky I was to have a remote job. They didn't know much about me. They said, "What do you do? What are you doing in El Chalten?" And sometimes, you meet someone random. You like to kind of like play little games. And I said, "Trabajo." I said, "I work you." Or I said, I work, right? Like, that's why I'm here. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't work here, but I'm here. I'm just working, just living. And, they said, you know, you're so lucky that like you get the chance to do this. And I was thinking, I worked in an office in Wisconsin in 2019. And I came home one day and I said, Emma, in the next month, I'm going to quit my job and start a company that allows me to live anywhere. And it was scary and whatever. And it was like, it was the step to doing the things, to having the experiences that you want and being the person that you want. So I think Marie, you probably, if I was guessing, have a good internal compass for who's good to be around, who's not. And then you ruthlessly schedule time with people like, your husband or like Dr. B or some of your clients that were in Asheville, and you ruthlessly tell maybe old friends that I just don't have time. I'm so busy with work, right? Sending messages like that, right?
It's having the discernment for where your energy should go. And I have to be, with the work that I do, incredibly discerning and
Mhm.
incredibly protective of my energy. And that is something that I've learned along my journey. And it's very easy for me now to feel into who expands me, who lights me up, and who depletes me. And so if you're on the depletion list, that's gonna be somebody that is not gonna necessarily get my top priority
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
time and my energy, and I value that.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. I'm reading your facial expression. We
yeah.
don't need names, but there's someone on your depletion list that you're close to and you have to spend time with. Is that fair? Is that a good guess?
Um, yeah, I guess that's fair to say. I don't feel like we have to spend time with anybody truly if
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't want to. So I
Yeah.
feel like we always have choice, we always have power.
Um, it'd be maybe a major like inconvenience. How do you handle that? Like, I have let's pick a group. I have some friends from high school.
Mhm.
When I'm home, yo, what's up, dude? Let's hang. I'm like, no, I'm good. Or like, the friends that like are, yeah, hitting you up like that. Could be family, right? That like around the time. I could tell you, even people that I love, 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 that are amazing, are on good vibes, but like close family, spending like a ton of time around the holidays, I've realized actually depletes my energy quite a bit. And
Mhm.
I love that I could spend like 4 or 5 straight weeks with my family. I realize it's not good for me. I think what I want to start doing is like, just like, more frequent, but smaller trips. So how would you handle if someone's like, hey, I've identified this person, they drop my energy, but I have to spend time with them.
Yeah, they're still connected into your field and you feel like you gotta give them some time and love. And everybody deserves it. Listen, very often when I'm with people that deplete my energy, I actually raise theirs and it kind of balances out by the end of the time together and that's great. But
That's
I think it short and sweet whenever you can is really great, and actually pausing and identifying, like, is this something that I need to be doing? Is this something that is a use of my light, of my time? Is this where the creator would have me in this moment? Or is there somewhere else of service that he would rather put me? And so I just take every day in action and interaction from that. So because you can find light in anything.
yeah, that's good. I heard two things, right? I heard one is like raise their light,
Mhm,
and the other is like evaluate yourself. Um, it's so funny when I think of the happiness discipline. So bring it back to title of podcast, the myth, the thought here. It's identifying what makes you happy and having the discipline to execute it. Meaning, yeah, you could go through your whole life and say, yeah, like I don't like my job, but you got to work. It's like, okay, oh, I don't like this person, but they're my cousin, they're my brother, they're my parent, they're my friend. Like, um, I really do think it's the simple stuff, but like actually doing it, like executing it, and especially if it's something to execute over and over, like um spending time. I'll tell you the reason that second one lit me up of like evaluating. Every Friday, I look at all my meetings and I just look at them, categorize them: sales call, podcast interview, team meeting, and then red, green, yellow, red means it took my energy, yellow means blah, green means I left stoked.
Yeah.
And if it's a red and it's recurring, I stop it. If it's a yellow,
Mm.
I try to change it to a green or stop it. And if it's green, I book more of them. Like
Mm.
I usually don't do this. I have a podcast right after this. Another one. I love podcasts. Like they're just fun. So, I mean,
That's a really good system to have. That's a really good
simple.
system to have. I use that for who I wanna work with and for how often, because I have to be very protective of my field because I hold many people's field. We're
Yeah.
manifesting things, we're working together. I can't risk it, not just for the sake of me, but for everyone that I work with. And I think when it comes down to it, like, it really is a discipline of not people pleasing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing because very often when we wanna say like, we're scared to say no to the cousin or the family member or anything, it's because it's a people-pleasing tendency. And so you have to get really disciplined and make it your absolute devotion to cut that habit and get absolutely devoted to making sure that you yourself are feeling safe, you are feeling fulfilled, and you are feeling happy in where you are.
Do you mind telling the audience what you do?
Yeah.
And you should have this in a perfect 2 sentence thing. You've been working on your branding. Come on.
It's hilarious because I actually went into my journey this weekend, and one of the things that I asked for, I was like, "Please explain to me what I do," because 'cause I'm having a really hard time explaining it to people because it is so multidimensional. It is vast, and it's so bespoke to every single person that I work with. But one of the things that came through that I channeled and they told me, because we'll start off with saying I am a channel, as you said, connected to source. And so that is my primary gift. But they said, "You're the calibrator." And I was like, "Ooh, I like that." I was like, "And what am I calibrating everybody to?" I was like, "Be specific. We need an elevator pitch here." And they said to me, "You're meant to calibrate everyone that you work with to the highest evolution of themselves and put them on their highest timeline." For not just for them, but for the sake of everyone around them, to have these contracts that we have here today to be fulfilled. So I work individually with people to cut out the noise, to help them go through a full deconditioning process of everything that's holding them back in their life, the patterns, the beliefs, the even just like the personal attachments that we have to old versions of ourselves that are truly no longer serving us. So we go through where we strip it all away and we create space for alignment to come in.
Mm.
And so it's really a remembrance. It's helping people truly come home to themselves and who they truly are and not this limited version of themselves that they're living
Yeah.
from.
Remembrance and stripping away like things that they've conditioned themselves, the unconditioning process. Those are the
Yeah.
words that really stuck out to me. You know, I'm a full believer in epigenetics and that
Mm.
we're like not destined for anything materially, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that like it is our conditioning and our choice and like our behaviors, but we got conditioned like
Mhm.
at young ages and through like environment, like things just happened, I guess. um when we weren't aware to it, and you start to see, when you wake up to that, and I want to use the word wake up to that,
Mm.
you start to see your patterns, your behavioral patterns, right? Like it's crazy how pattern recognition and simple action, in my opinion, is like the key to happiness, which is why I call it the happiness discipline, right? It's like those things are so simple. Then it's just, do you have the discipline to keep it going? Like, I mean, literally this morning, when you're just cold, like for some reason, you're just cold. Yesterday I ran like 28 miles. I was so calorie depleted that I woke up this morning and I was freezing. First thing I do every morning, get in shower and take a cold shower. And today I was like walking circles. I was trying to do anything I can to not do it. Um, And then like I just heard a little voice like, Sean, you know you feel better every single time. Went in, it sucked. I stayed in, it started being fun. Then I was like, all right, I'm good. I came out and you just know, like, you know, these certain like things happen. But it's crazy how deep our conditioning is. What does it look like when you're maybe working with someone to decondition that?
Mm. First, creating the safety to even do so. I think very often a lot of the conditioning that we hold on to, even though we know it's not serving us, is because we adopted it as a space of safety, of protection. It's what we were taught we need to do to keep ourselves good. And that's comes from fear. So, first things first, we gotta make sure we have a safe space. Hold the container. You throw so much love at it, just to the place where now we can sit from conscious observation. Because you can't have any form of pattern recognition or see things from that perspective if you're stuck so deeply in the role of, like, what I like to say is like the actor of the movie that we're all living in. You need to be in the
I
director's
like that.
seat. Yeah, so I pull you back to the director's seat first because my greatest channel and gift is I'm able to see the greater perspective. So I can see the soul contract evolved. I can see how it ripple outs and affects everyone. And so from that, I can pull you in the director's seat and help you connect all of the dots of what's unfolding and see how your role in this movie and someone else's, let's say it's a difficult parent or a spouse, and we can see, like, where's the friction here? What is happening here? What is the purpose here? What is the lesson in this? Because every single one of us is here to move through our soul corrections. It's here so we can evolve, so we can learn, so we can grow, so we can bring in more light into this earth. And the only way we can do that is by bringing more light into the vessel that we are currently in. And the only way you can bring in the light into the vessel that you're currently in is by sitting in the discomfort, the pains, the fears from a seat of conscious observation and transmute it into light. Take the wisdom, and then you move forward from there. And now we have something good that we can adopt and we can leave the rest behind. And very often, a huge part of that is being able to surrender and forgive and release, like, the shame, the guilt, the fears, like, the embarrassment that we have for even operating from those patterns. Takes a lot of grace.
I think there's something with sitting in the discomfort
Mm,
that we don't get a lot of now with cell phones.
no.
There's no need to. You just look at Instagram and feel comfortable again.
There's never
Or
been an easier time for disassociation.
yeah. I don't know. It just like shot in me, right? As you said, like sitting in the discomfort. It's really funny. So the trail that I ran yesterday has no service the entire time, right? So I ran from 4 a.m. to like 11 a.m. So 7 hours, no connection. And I mean, first of all, I felt like I got reborn, right? Like I'm still riding the high. Like, and I remember I was talking to someone. I said, it's so good to take a run like without a cell phone, no head, like not listening to music, even, not just
Mhm.
not getting text, emails, Instagram, whatever. Um, and the guy I was talking to was older. He was in his like 60s and he goes, Sean, for almost my whole life, that's the only way to run. You know, he's like, I think it's weird to, and he's a runner. He's like, I think it's weird to run with a phone. And, my brain, I'm like, you don't have a phone for like, in case something happens. He's like, in the 1 hour I'm running, no, I don't. He's like, I just go run. And I was like, what happens if you get lost? He's like, then I get lost. I don't know what to tell you. And it was just so funny because like it really, do I think technology is like evil? No. But I think there's a lot of I know there's a lot of input and a lot of adaptation that needs to happen. Because we spoke deeply about this and he was talking about that He did his morning breath work, and then he led a sound bath in the afternoon. And then the evening, he did a chanting practice with his neighbor, like their couple and his wife. And I was like, whoa, that's like, a lot of like energetic work in a day. And he's just like, I feel like there's a lot of maintenance that's required now. And, you know, I think I love idealism, but I also love like being grounded in reality. And I think he really is. He wasn't like depressed about it. He wasn't like, oh, all these fucking, phones are messing us up. It was just kind of the reality. It was like, no, Sean, I mean, I'm on my computer just like getting pinged on like Slack and email like all day and Zooms. And then I'm on my phone like that and my TV. And he's just like, a lot of it's like not my opinion, not my thought, not my frequencies. And he's like, I just need to like flush it sometimes. And he's feeling it more than others. What's your personal uh what are some of your routines that you do to help you maintain energetic clarity and
Yeah.
cleanliness?
This is like what he described as s it's spiritual hygiene. Just like we brush our teeth, just like we shower, just like we have to feed ourselves, we have to be cognizant of how much we are constantly taking in, how much we are absorbing. We have more being thrown at us than we ever have before, which means we need a strong energetic hygiene. So, whether it's on a daily basis or for some people more weekly or biweekly, energy work of some form, I think is crucial for our health, for our longevity, for our coherence. So I love Reiki. I facilitate it. I receive it. I do a lot of energy work practices. Meditation is absolutely crucial, just taking some time to completely shut off and clear the mind. If I am having any stimulation during that time, it is sound and frequency. That for me actually really helps to clear my channel. Grounding into the earth, as you know, but even if you can't go outside, just like taking a minute in between calls and just like planting your feet on the floor and literally visualizing a light coming through like your crown, your channel going all the way down and envisioning it like blasting roots out of your feet into the earth. I don't care where you are, even if you're on an airplane, you can do that.
Yeah.
And so it's just clearing your field, being very cognizant as well to protect our energy. That is one thing that I find so many of us don't really like move through life doing is we're going into these busy spaces or if you're on an air, I will not walk into a crowded room without taking a beat in my mind and putting my force field up. It is my temple. It is my auric field. Like, you do not get into that unless I open it up for you. And so no matter what space you're in, and this is where proximity is incredibly powerful. Sometimes we can't control the proximity that we have in that moment. We can't control being online and being in these meetings and having all of this energy and radiation and stimulation coming in. So protecting it, because that's something that we can control. And it's wild the power of intention. So it's even just taking a moment to like clear the cords at the end of the day from the day. Put things into little boxes if you have to in your mind. Watch things dissolve in your mind just like through the light. All these cords that get attached to you throughout the day. Clear them, cleanse them, send everybody's power and light back to them and their full strength and in full light and love, and call all of your power and light back to you. It's just constantly taking that devotion of honoring our sovereignty and our autonomy every single day. Otherwise, we don't realize how much we're carrying forward and constantly stacking forward. So many people go through like chronic exhaustion and depletion, and they're like, but my blood work says I'm fine and all these, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, but how's your energy right now? Like, how much are you carrying? When was the last time you took a salt bath? Like, what do you sage every once in a while?" And it's as woo as it might sound, like, it makes a difference. It makes a difference because I can tell if I fall off track and I don't prioritize that in a day, I feel it. You can feel it off of me. And when you get that connected to your own field, you notice a difference and a shift instantly. And from that space, it's beautiful because you can then go in and be like, okay, is this mine or is this somebody else's? Is this something I've picked up or is this truly mine that I need to process and work with? And very often, what we're holding, what we're feeling, that stagnation, that depletion isn't even our own. And so I think it's actually incredibly crucial at the end of every single day to make sure that we're clearing our field and sitting with what's present before we go to sleep and carrying that into our night.
You just you just defined the happiness discipline better than I could myself. I mean, you're talking about a daily practice of like doing something every day to ensure your energies are aligned. Thank you for that. That was so beautiful. I had to close down for a sec, close my eyes. I was just, your words hit me very, very, very clearly there.
Aw.
I hope they did for others too. And I mean, you can just see that you do the work, if that makes sense. I guess feel that you can do the work. So
Mm.
I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
for that.
I think one of the greatest compliments that I've ever received is that people have been coming up to me the last couple of years that know me and know what we've been through. And to hear people say, you could never tell that you lost a child and you've been through what you've been through because you just feel so light is one of the greatest compliments. Because that for me is the reassurance that in the validation of this work,
Yeah.
you can't see what I carry. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aho.
Uh-huh.
Well, Murray, thank you so much for that. I think maybe next time we even do we there because there's got to be a next time. I
For sure.
think we maybe even do something that's interactive on here because,
Mm.
um, you know, full disclosure that I'll be working with Marie as my coach here coming up, and I know that we can talk about it, but I also think there's a lot that we can give people and offer people in a platform like this. So my wheels are going to get spinning on that.
We'll get spinning together. I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. I would love to take your audience through like a beautiful little hypnosis and meditation and just help them clear and
Yeah.
anchor their field. That would be awesome.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
And
Sean.
I hope you are leaving with more energy than you came with.
Definitely expanded. Thank you.